What's up, Financial Hawks? It's your man Eric. And in today's video, we're going to be going over the crazy restaurant experience currently. I'm not sure you guys been hearing, but not only got the Gen Z stare all the freaking time, but we also have just crazy, horrible experiences in general at these restaurants, and we're also just having a high expense. And also everything is just so much higher. And that's not just like regular restaurants, but also the fast food restaurants. So let's go ahead and go over some of these videos. I'll share my thoughts on some of this craziness going on in America while a lot of people are staying home to eat.
Hello. Um, may I get a small four-way with onions? Oh, what's the difference between a coney dog and a chili dog? Or the chili sandwich? Could I get the coney dog? And yes, ma'am. That's all. Actually, could I get a drink? I'm sorry. Could I get a Coke? I'm sorry about that. My food was for here. Thanks. About a couple just came in and they greeted them. They looked at me like, "What do you want?" She like told my stuff to go. She didn't even ask if I'm eating. And they're getting to this, I guess. That's wonderful. How come my food was packed to go? I never said my food was to go.
So first off, yeah, that's a terrible service right when they came into the establishment. You guys haven't seen the comments on this, but the comments are just going crazy as well because a lot of people have been experiencing this just more and more now. So yeah, when you first go into establishment, they should be greeting you versus them just staring at you or everybody's just ignoring you. So that's already a big red flag. Second off, again, they didn't even ask him where he was going to eat. Was he going to eat there or not? So they just assumed XYZ. Another big one too was when he came up to the counter talking to the girl. She just moved to the other register on the other side. Like usually if they have you at another register, they'll be like, "Hey, come over here. Yeah, I'll ring you up on this side." That's usually what they say or something along those lines. This girl didn't say nothing. Just get that Gen Z stare like that again. Like, come on now. And again, a lot of people are experiencing not just the Gen Z stare, but just people giving just bad attitudes like across the board. And a lot of these places are these fast food places. So if I was the owner of this company, I would definitely go ahead and either reprimand and or fire these employees. I don't know if they're like the supervisor back there. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. I'm not sure if this guy right there is a supervisor or not. It looks like he could be, or maybe he just does the drive through. But if that's the supervisor right there, he needs to get reprimanded and or fired as well. You would not get this type of quality at Chick-fil-A, for example. This is something, unfortunately, you would see at other places. I feel like you got the stereotypes of like Popeyes and all the other places like that, just being rude and, wanting to fight and XYZ. But now it seems like you're just getting every freaking place kind of like that. So yeah, unfortunately, I guess a lot of these people are going to end up probably losing their jobs again to the AI because at least with the robots and shit, you don't have to worry about them giving you a hard time and giving you, stress and whatnot for you trying to pay to eat food at their establishment. So I guess, with AI and stuff, you don't have to worry about that at least.
Me or is eating out complete shit nowadays. Like, I'm seriously getting to the point where I would rather just eat at home. Number one, it's going to be cheaper. Number two, it's going to be cleaner. You know who's cooking your food. And then number three, you're getting more value for your money and you're going to be ultimately happier with your own meal. Like, me and my wife went to go get fajitas the other day and it was like $75 for chicken fajitas for two. And I was like, bro, what the hell is this? Obviously with tip and everything like that, but $75 and we got like one Coke. The Coke was like $4. And I'm like, what is happening nowadays? And the worst thing is when you spend all this money and then you finish eating and you're like, bro, this food absolutely sucked. Me and my wife have kind of gotten to the place where we're just like, there's only a few places where we feel comfortable spending our hard-earned money to go and eat because we know that the food is going to be consistently good. And one of them is In-N-Out. And that's probably the only fast food place that I feel has any consistency.
Yeah, he definitely hitting the nail right on the head on that one. Yeah. I'm trying to think of like a few places, like not just fast food, but just like just restaurants in general. I know for a fact going to Chick-fil-A, you're going to get good service. So, consistent chicken sandwich, the fries, everything will be consistent there. Cheesecake Factory as well. Went there recently with my team. Great food, very consistent. It's just as great this time as it did the last time I was with them. So that one's good. Maybe Golden Chick. I feel like they've been pretty good for the most part. I don't think they've raised their prices too much, even though I think they could decrease the amount that they be charging for a fish and whatnot. But that's a whole other story. So maybe them too. But yeah, it's like a select few. Other places, like you got to double check to see if your food is going to actually be there. You got to double check if, your drink is correct. Oh, let me add Whataburger. I think Whataburger is pretty consistent as well. But I'm not sure there's guys in the state that has Whataburger. But yeah, that's like some of the ones I can think of off the top of my head. Let me know in the comments what places, fast food or just regular restaurants, have you noticed that has been consistent still, even in 2025. Maybe we might need a whole list. Maybe I can do another video talking about that.
Recession indicator. It's 6 p.m. at Outback Steakhouse. I'm used to this being like completely packed.
Yeah, that's definitely wild. You can even hear in the background of like the emptiness. It just seems like you like on a sound stage or something. But yeah, I think that could be a good indicator of, recession or whatnot coming up, or, XYZ, or it can also just show that maybe a lot of these establishments have horrible service and people are finally waking up and they're not giving money to places like this. Now, this particular place, yeah, that's crazy. It's 6 o'clock. Usually these places will be packed with everybody getting off of work or whatnot. I can see this maybe like at 1 p.m. after lunchtime, at 1, 2 on a Monday, Tuesday. But yeah, I think she said a Thursday, on a Thursday, 6 p.m. That's crazy. And yeah, it probably is, just some indicators right now of where we're going to end up seeing a lot of these restaurants, fast food joints, etc., end up being like, especially if they keep this type of attitude towards their own customers that want to actually spend money with them, which again makes no sense to me.
Restaurants and fast food places have lost their minds. Absolutely crazy. This is my total from the Papa John's app yesterday when I was trying to order for our family a single large pizza, 3 toppings, a single cheese pizza, medium, just cheese, breadsticks, and a 16 count of wings. This is before tip, guys. $98.86. Are you kidding? Like, how do they expect us to live with these prices? This is insanity. Little Caesars, $6. Ready to go. Just go grab 2 of them right there. Walk in and be like, hey, I need a couple hot and ready. Oh, we got a pepperoni and a sausage. Take them. Thanks. Not as good as Papa John's. $12. Look at this. You can't get anything anymore for a reasonable price. I'm only going out to eat at local places now. We got a bowling alley down the street from our house. It's got a diner on.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Some Little Caesars sound like so good right now. You can always, I guess, rely on them. I remember back when I was like in college and I would like be back home and going to Little Caesars felt so good, especially when you don't have any type of money, really. So Little Caesars really be hitting. But now, even with some type of money, Little Caesars still hits so good right now. So yeah, shout out to Little Caesars, because yeah, all the other pizza places, they are very high. It's like you get one pizza, like a large, and that's what they usually about $18.99, and that's usually with like 1 topping. So if you add on like multiple toppings, you paying like $25-$30 for 1 pizza, and you add 2 or 3 of those, it's easily $90. And then of course, a lot of these places, they will give you those, they'll give you those type of coupons like, oh, we'll take off $10 here, XYZ. But then again, if you're tipping as well, that also goes towards that. But maybe you might want to, actually pick it up. But still, even while picking it up, it's still a high price versus, again, going to Little Caesars and just paying, $5, $6 for a pizza. And then they also got wings there too. And I think they got some other stuff too. So yeah, shout out to Little Caesars, and shout out to Arizona Tea. I want to say it's still 99 cents, even in today's economy, or 97 or 98. Like it's still like under the $1, I believe. I could be mistaken. Let me know in the comments if Arizona Tea has risen over $1. But from all I know, it's still the same price, even with all this craziness going on. I don't know how they're making money, I guess, because I'm pretty sure the cost and XYZ of things have increased for them. So for the fact that they're still keeping things low, show me that a lot of the other companies are purposely wanting to increase their revenue. They're purposely doing that. And then they're seeing everything increase. So they're like, oh, okay, everything else is increasing. So let me go ahead and just increase myself just because. But none of their materials and none of their XYZs are actually increasing. So yeah, it's crazy out here. I mean, it may be at the point that everybody may just have to go to Little Caesars if you want pizza. And I guess Domino's and all the other places are going to either have to lower their prices or just go out of business. But the only way you can really fight that is to fight with your money. So that if some of these places are too expensive, just stop going to those places and start, helping out these other places like Little Caesars, for example. And this can go for like any type of like field or niche or whatnot. And, after them seeing that they're not making any type of money anymore, then we just hopefully see some type of decrease. But if not, I guess they'll just go out of business.
Restaurants in particular, is Florida's minimum wage has gone up from $8.56 an hour to $13 an hour, which definitely pushes up labor costs. And the square footage that tenants have to pay for retail establishments climbed about 54% between 2020 and 2024. And the rent on some of these places in Miami are just insane, guys. And I know places, when I get back, I can show you that there are spots where they have literally had empty retail space since it has been built. They have never filled it with a tenant because it's too expensive. And other spots, they go vacant and they stay vacant for years at a time because nobody will pay the prices. And then the landlords, they just leave it empty instead of accept the lower rent and get it filled. Here's another couple from Coral Gables that says, my husband and I are definitely eating out less and cooking more. When we do eat out, we choose a medium price restaurant, whereas last year we would not have thought twice about going to an upscale restaurant for dinner. Or we go for lunch, or we entertain at home. We feel that the economy is sliding, and as we see warning signs and definitely are experiencing a slowdown in our businesses, therefore we want to be judicious in our spending. So even people who are successful that are running businesses are noticing the slowdown in the economy. They're noticing the increase in costs, especially if they have to pay tariffs for things that they import that they need for their business. And they're seeing that people are not spending the money like they were a year or two ago. Somebody else says that the economy has only gotten worse as prices are up. My income is going down, and it looks like it's only going to get worse. So we're cutting back on everything. When my wife and I go out to eat, we order one plate and share. I feel terrible for the service staff as they work on tips, but also tipping has gotten out of control. Even for takeout via a drive-thru at Starbucks, they want tips now. Check out the views today. Beautiful day.
Okay, yeah, that was a lot to unpack on that video, but yeah, you're speaking facts. A lot of this is going on everywhere, not just in Miami. But the last thing you talked about with the taxes, not taxes, but the tips, how that has been going insane, how places that don't do anything at all still expect you to tip. That is crazy. I was like looking at some social media videos on this, and it was like one of them, they were like at I think like a grocery store or something like that. And they packed or put their own food in their bags and whatnot, and the machine is still asking them for a tip. It's like, where is the tip going to? Like, seriously, where is the tip going to? Is it going to the company just because I have to go and shop, get all my food, bag up my food? And I'm seeing a thing on the counter or whatnot saying, 10, 15, 25%? Like, come on now. Come on. So I wouldn't be surprised if they end up removing some of this tipping, if they end up seeing that whatever this is going on with these restaurants is not working. Maybe they get subsidized a little bit, to get more people in, and then they're paying people minimum wage or maybe above that for a lot of these different places. And then maybe tipping may not be as a important thing like they do here in the United States compared to like all these other places. But yeah, that's just crazy. Like, the places that want you to tip is like, come on now. Some of these places, like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. And like the people, they be looking at you too, like, which one you're going to pick, as if they're going to be receiving that money. Or maybe they do. Like, let me know if like the registered people, do they actually, like the cashiers, do they actually receive those tips at a grocery store or whatnot? Or is it just the company receiving those? I'm definitely intrigued. But yeah, it's bad out here everywhere. And so it's good to see that even in Miami, where people supposedly have some type of money, right? If you're living there, they're still struggling too. And they're not even trying to freaking go to restaurants over there. They're trying to just share food, get one plate, share that, versus, buying up the place like they could have been, a year or two ago. So yeah, it's crazy out here, and I just don't see it changing anytime soon.
Americans are drastically pulling back on tipping. A few years ago, well over half of all restaurant goers tipped at least 20%. But now, over a third tip 20%. People have been broken by rising food prices, a terrible economy, and out of control tip culture. So now people are just shutting down. And it's not like people are eating more. People are also ordering less food than they used to. And not only are people ordering less at restaurants than they used to, they're also going to restaurants less frequently. All of this translates into a terrible time for servers and for restaurants. It's difficult to blame Americans for this, though. Food is taking up a 3-decade high percentage of Americans' disposable income. Beyond that, we are currently in a white-collar recession with many people taking months, if not years, to find a job. Claims for continuing unemployment are as high as they have been since the lockdown in 2020. Conditions are so tough right now that it's making a lot of people reluctant to spend money because they are uncertain of what the economic future will be. Unfortunately, it looks like tips are going to stay down in America for the foreseeable future. You've just watched the Special Economic Episode.
Yeah, I'm definitely not surprised that it's hitting restaurants. Because again, if no one has money, we can't buy anything, kind of like with the thing they were talking about with Amazon when they had the layoffs there. Like if they're laying off all these people, hundreds of thousands of people in all these places or whatnot, how are people going to be able to afford these Amazon products or whatever products? And again, this goes towards food as well. It's like, yeah, you can spend all that money at a restaurant or you can just make the food at home, or you can go to a fast food place and still pay a whole lot cheaper. And you don't have to worry about, any type of extra tip as well, waiting and bad service, GNC stares all the time. It's like, there's a lot of more pros to doing stuff by yourself or doing stuff, at your home, in your own home versus going to a lot of these different places. And this is 2025, at the end of 2025. And I'm going to probably end up making maybe a video every single month talking about this. And unfortunately, I feel like I can pretty much guarantee the next 3-4 months, this is not going to change. It's probably going to end up getting worse. I would not be surprised if we end up seeing more restaurants end up closing. A restaurant that I liked that closed, I think this year actually, was The Goat. It's over here in Dallas. Had nice food, nice atmosphere, et cetera, but the economy and how crazy things are, people aren't able just to spend extra money on a lot of this extra stuff, and that place closed down. And again, I wouldn't be surprised to see more and more of these places close down. I know with Brahms too, like this last year, maybe like the last 15, like several different Brahms that I knew. Like if you guys don't know what Brahms is, it's the ice cream place. Several of those closed. So it was like they always had lines too, which is crazy because it would make sense they didn't have no like lines. But every time I would go, it seemed like everyone would have like a ton of people there. But even they had to close down a ton of different places because again, the economy, how crazy everything is, how crazy expensive everything is. I'm pretty sure the landlords of those places probably wanted more money. Maybe the increase to get the ice cream probably increased, and they look at the margins and they're like, hey, we should not making that much money for this. So yeah, just don't be surprised to see more close downs with like restaurants and stuff in 2026. Shoot, maybe even 2027.
Industry traffic for lower income consumers is down double digits. And it's because people are either choosing to skip a meal. So we're seeing breakfast. People are actually skipping breakfast, or they're choosing to just eat at home. And so for our business, which has a significant group of consumers, which are in that middle and lower income, we needed to step in with something like what we're doing, particularly with middle and lower income consumers. They're feeling under a lot of pressure.
What he said.
I think there's a lot of commentary about what's the state of the economy, how's it doing? And what we see is it's really kind of a two-tier economy. If you're upper income, earning over $100,000, things are good. Stock markets are near all-time highs. You're feeling, quite confident about things. You're seeing international travel. All those barometers of upper income consumers are doing quite well. What we see with middle and lower income consumers is actually a different story. It's that consumers under a lot of pressure. We call it value ladders. So there would be something that would be an entry price point for someone who's looking for something that maybe they only have a few dollars in their pocket. So what can I buy for a few dollars in my pocket? And then we try to offer more premium items as well for somebody who's, maybe able to spend more money.
But because it's a two-tier economy, do you not get the benefit of wealthier people trading down that you might in a generalized economy or economic downturn?
We don't see as much, again, because that wealthier consumer right now isn't feeling under a lot of pressure. It's just, this isn't like what we saw in the Great Recession, where that consumer, everybody was trading down. Right now, again, if you're upper income, you're feeling pretty good about things. And so we're not seeing as pronounced a trade down effect this time around.
And the chickens, it's back. The snack wraps are back.
Permanently $2.99, spicy ranch. I would say, I mean, tried it.
Okay, that last part he talked about on there regarding the upper people, I get people who are, I'm assuming, I guess making over 100K, like the who are top 10%, top 20, top 15, percent of people. Yeah, they're not feeling this craziness going on, so they're not having to go to McDonald's and whatnot. And I thought that was a good point because, yeah, even though there's a lot of craziness and XYZ going on, there is still a lot of money to be made out here still. I've done videos going over like jobs and different stuff like that, like in tech, still paying 150K, still paying 200K, still paying 250K. So there are people still getting high salaries right now. Some people I follow like on social media who are beasting like in their tech roles or business, still doing good right now. So yeah, this isn't affecting everybody, but I want to say this is affecting the majority of people. But regardless, I guess in any type of, downfall or whatnot, like, the rich people are still going to be rich at the end of the day. I guess if they end up not being rich, then I guess some other craziness is going to end up going on in the world or that planet, or I mean, not that planet or that country. There's a lot more other stuff. So you should definitely be worried. But right now, I get the low income consumer and or people who are middle class to lower class, you're definitely feeling this craziness going on. And if you're not, you could totally, again, lose your job out of nowhere. We've seen Meta have massive layoffs out of nowhere. Amazon, we've seen Walmart, again, they're taking a 5-year hiatus on hiring people. So it can be that quick that you can lose all your income and then you're just like everybody else. And on top of that too, we had, federal employees who thought their job was good and thought everything was going good. And then we had the government shutdowns and then they're not getting paid. So it could be just like that. So I thought that was a good point that he made about, again, everybody not feeling this. However, everybody can feel this very quickly. Again, with how crazy these layoffs are. We got the AI coming in soon. I mean, it's already here, but coming into more places, et cetera, et cetera. 2026 is going to be wild, but 2025 was a wild year. But yeah, 2026, 2027, I'm definitely intrigued to see how things are end up, going and whatnot. But anyway, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Let me know how you feel about these fast food places and just regular restaurants in general. Do you feel like you've been going more or less? And also tell me about McDonald's. You guys have any special foods you guys like to get from McDonald's? I heard that they brought back the McRib. I'm assuming that they're also bringing it back during this time because they know people like myself is going to have to go ahead and get about 2, 3, or 4 of them. But yeah, if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe. See you guys in the next one. Peace.